Have you ever felt like the brands you deal with every single day just don't get you? Well, today we're diving into a technology that is completely changing that. It's called Emotion AI. We're going to break down exactly how it works and why it's such a massive game changer for how brands talk to us. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You can track your rideshare down to the exact meter, but the moment you're actually stuck and frustrated in a traffic jam, the message you get is totally generic, completely unhelpful. It's the perfect example of this huge disconnect between the data brands have and the actual experience they give us. Let's really dig into why that happens. Okay, to really wrap your head around the scale of this, just look at this number, 134.16 million. That's how many people are online in Bangladesh. We're not just talking about some niche market here. We're talking about a huge, digitally savvy population that pretty much lives, works, and talks online. And where are all these people? Right here, in the palm of their hands. A staggering 80% of all e-commerce in Bangladesh happens on a mobile phone. Just think about that for a second. The entire customer journey, from the excitement of finding something new to the pure frustration of a payment failing, it all plays out on that little screen. And this is where things get really expensive for businesses. A McKinsey study found that a massive 71% of customers get frustrated by impersonal generic service. You know, in a mobile-first world, that frustration isn't just a bad review anymore. It's an uninstalled app, it's a lost customer. And it happens in the blink of an eye. So this huge disconnect has a name. It's called the empathy gap. Brands have mountains of data, but they're missing the one thing that really matters, the human element. They just can't hear the difference between a happy, satisfied TK and a sarcastic, fed-up TK. The words are exactly the same, but the emotion, worlds apart. So how do you even begin to bridge that empathy gap? Well, the solution is in technology that can finally understand the incredibly unique and nuanced way that Bangladeshis communicate online. You know, that mix of Bengali, English, and phonetic typing that we all call Banglish. Let's look at a perfect real-world example. A customer writes, Service Palo, Gintu delivery manner behavior kubi kharap. Now, an old-school analysis tool sees the word Palo, which means good, and it just marks the entire review as positive. It's completely blind to the real problem here, a really bad experience with the delivery person. This is a classic example of where older tech just completely failed. And this is where things get really exciting. There's a new model from 2024 called Skip Banglabert, and it is an absolute game changer. It's not just a little bit better, it's over 12% more accurate than the older models. And why is that? Because it's been specifically trained on all the complexities of Bengali and Banglish, including sarcasm. This is the kind of tech that actually understands that last review was deeply negative, not positive. Okay, so having this powerful technology is one thing, but how do you actually use it? That's where this really practical 5-step framework comes in. You can think of it as a playbook for brands to turn all this messy emotional data into smart, effective actions. It's called the Sense model. And it's a really simple but powerful way to put all this into practice. It's all about signal capture, emotional mapping, deciding on the next best action, creating sentiment-based content, and finally having strong ethical guardrails. Just think of it like a roadmap to go from just hearing your customers to truly understanding them. So how does this actually work? Step 1 is signal capture. And this is way more than just searching for keywords. The system is trained to pick up on these really emotionally charged words like faltu or useless, especially when you see them with a bunch of exclamation marks. That is a crystal clear signal that a human being needs to step in, and they need to do it fast. Then we get to step 2, emotional mapping. And this is where you start to see the real power. Forget about the old way of grouping people by age and location. With emotional mapping, you can actually group your customers by how they feel. You can spot your frequent frustrated users, or even your quiet loyals. You know, the ones who never complain but might be just about to leave for good. And that leads right into step 3, next best action. This is where the magic really happens. If the AI detects that a customer is feeling anxious, maybe they're asking, "Where's my order?" It knows that sending them a discount coupon is the absolute worst thing you could do. What that person needs right then and there is a real-time status update to calm their anxiety. That's what we mean by a next best action. And this flows right into your marketing with step 4, sentiment-based creative. If you know your audience is feeling hopeful and excited during a festive season, your ads can use that aspirational, upbeat language. But if they're feeling frustrated about a service outage, your communication needs to be calm and reassuring. It's all about matching the tone to the feeling. Now, for what might be the single most important step in this whole thing? Ethical guardrails. This is all about trust. It means being completely upfront and transparent with your customers about how you're using their data, not to trick them, but to genuinely make their experience better. So you might be thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work? Well, let's look at some real-world results, from a huge global brand to a name that we all know and use right here at home. Let's start with Duolingo. They don't just spam you with the same old reminders. They actually analyze user sentiment. If they can tell you're getting genuinely frustrated because you lost your learning streak, they'll send a much more encouraging and empathetic message. And the result of doing that? A 14% jump in daily active users. That's huge. And here's how it works locally. Patal used sentiment analysis to go through all of its app reviews, and they found something really interesting. While small technical glitches happened a lot, it was issues with payments that caused the most intense negative emotion. So by focusing on fixing the things that were breaking trust, they saw an incredible 22% jump in their 5-star ratings.
Of course, talking about all this brings up a really important question. Isn't this all a little bit creepy? You know, the whole idea of an AI understanding our emotions can feel unsettling. So let's just tackle the ethics of this head on.
Here's the core dilemma, right? On one hand, we as customers want and even demand personalized experiences. But on the other hand, nobody wants to feel like they're being constantly watched or manipulated. It's a very, very fine line between being helpful and being invasive. The guiding principle here has to be simple. The goal is to serve, not to manipulate. And in Bangladesh, with regulations like the Cybersecurity Act of 2023, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's the law. Transparency is the absolute foundation of trust, and it is non-negotiable. So after all that, what are the big things to take away? First, accurate Bengali language processing is no longer a future dream. It's here and it works. Second, we have to move beyond just positive or negative and start understanding specific emotions. Third, in a mobile-first world, you have to be emotion-first. Fourth, trust is the ultimate metric. And finally, ethics and transparency are not optional extras. They are absolutely essential. I'll leave you with one final question to think about. As businesses, are we measuring what's easy, how much our customers spend? Or are we measuring what truly matters, how our customers actually feel? The answer to that question could be the difference between surviving and thriving in the years ahead.